Welcome to some One Piece action. If you're new to the channel, please give us a subscribe. And if you're a returning viewer and have not subscribed yet, please give us a subscribe. It definitely helps the channel grow. All right. You know me, I felt like there's so many leaders that are underrated. And I truly think this promo leader is underrated. My strategies towards this card game has been shifting continuously as I learn more and I see what direction the meta tends to go in, because I think it's important to see uh, what the meta looks like and understand why it's the way it is. So, as a deck builder, I'm not saying you have to just agree or follow the meta to a T, but it just shows you a part of the game that I think is necessary, which is like, okay, what's effective, but then why is it effective? And then once you get that, you kind of get the ideas of, okay, what can I do? Da da da. Saying all that to say, playing this leader, and going through the endeavors, it was very polarizing in the weirdest of ways, because essentially, this is what it feels like, right? So that way, it's just easier for me to just say. It feels like the only thing that's holding a lot of blue leaders back in general is the color blue itself, right? We outside of that combo of blue and black with an effective leader ability in Sakazuki original, um ideally the only thing that's holding blue back is blue itself. So if this leader doesn't get phased out before they print out some really solid sets of blue, like not just the one red rock and so on and so forth, we're talking something more, spreading like butter type of good. Anyway, yeah, it's a weird thing because when you see how the meta flows, and yes, this is a card game with no sideboard, no side decking. um it's difficult. There's a lot of blue cards. It's just like, yo, I can't play this. And then of course you go up against the deck that I'm like, wow, this would be perfect. So here's the best example. Brickfist is just like, man, if I go up against these decks, I could probably play it and it'll probably be very effective. And then you don't go up against those decks and it's trash. And it's like, why do I have this in the deck? And then and then there's the other way around. It's just like, I wish I had it in the deck. Why don't I have it in the deck? It's so polarizing, Brickfist, and how viable it is. It's weird. So then I'm noticing playing this leader and the build that we currently have for it, right? This is still work in progress, right? Experimental. Um, it's like, wow, how do I answer little characters just comfortably? So you see how that searcher is a 2-drop, but then you see what's in my hand. I have the Luffy that can bottom deck, but it's up to my opponent's choice. That Luffy card is super strong. It really is. It almost feels like it should just see play. But of course it doesn't see play because your opponent gets to pick, which means you have to cater the board state. It's like you have to, you know, figure out a way to get the low drops off the board. So then that's like, okay, well, I got to play these cards if I want to control the low drop, so that way these cards can become more effective. And of course, it's a card game, so you also have to make sure you're drawing into the cards that can answer the low drops. Anyway, when you look at a lot of the cards that are available that can help you with such situations, it's like they feel like Dookie. That was a bad sequence of 5, right? They feel like Dookie because it's like, why am I playing a 4-drop that can only target like 2 or less? Like, what is that? That sounds like, that's why we have that Weevil there. He can return a 3-drop, which he has come in handy a few times, in my plays. My test plays or whatever. I'm not saying, we'll see what happens in this specific video, but I'm just talking in general. I play, you already know how we do. We play these decks several times before we showcase, and figuring out the reason for the showcase, whether it's just to get an idea out there or we have something fully completed and it's like, yeah. But that's always disclaimed in the very beginning of our videos. Anyway, back to my ramble as you watch this Kalgara match. I'll commentate soon in a minute. But what you call it? Yeah. So it's like there's no reason to play these cards. It doesn't make sense. It's like, why do I want to? There's like a 6-drop that only affects these little characters. It's like it just doesn't make sense. Why am I spending all that Don for a card that can only deal with something that's not even putting in any work? It doesn't make sense. So I started realizing, yo, a lot of these cards, a lot of the cards in blue are just not what they need to be, just to be played. Like, not even a, like, the game doesn't like have an uncomfortable amount of effective 1, 2s, and 3s, right? As we see the evolution of the game, it's just about high dropping like crazy half the times, you know. So it's like, yeah, it's like based on how the meta flows, you just like, I don't know, like half the existence of blue cards are just not relevant. It's just not relevant, and that's what causes like complications to make some of these blue leaders good. Woo! So we didn't get to see the Weevil in that match, but yes, he does help, and oh my god, Boa is just such a fantastic card, because you already know just stopping an attack is strong. Her stat line is strong, right? 6 for 8 Dawn, but she helps. She actually helps make these other cards effective. It's not exactly what we need it to be, but it's there. So if my opponent plays a Searcher and it's just sitting on the board, I play Boa, bottom deck the Searcher. Now, you know, Luffy is effective, and that 2K counter is effective. What you call it? And then Buggy Bomb would be so strong, but it's just very difficult to like find a reasonable balance between cards that, you know, makes no sense to play, but they have their niche purposes, and cards that would be, you know, wild strong if you can create those situations and da da da. Hopefully I made sense of what I just said. But yeah, blue. Just start printing out blue cards that just are more relevant, that can help. I don't know what to say. It's like, oh, that Navy card that bottom deck's a 2 and a 1. We need a bounce card that does something similar. Bounce, it might sound too strong, right? Let's say 3 and a 2, right? Because I know we technically have Brickfist that would bounce a 4, so that would be a crazy power creep, unless the Dawn cost is like 4, right? That would make sense to some degree. Anyway, we need a card that can just be more relevant to current board states. See, so right now when you're looking at the board state, you see the Brûlée at 3 Dawn, right? It costs 3 Dawn. It's a weak blocker. So the strategy right now for me would be to have to just get them to use it, or wait till I get my Weevil and bounce that card back. That's the problem that gets created when you're just simply trying to play the game. A lot of these blue cards just can't impact a curve, pretty much. It causes that complication. So it prevents certain like super strong cards from getting played. And maybe you could say that's a good thing, because Buggy Bomb would be hyper effective, bouncing a 6 for 2 Dawn. You know, that Luffy would probably skyrocket in price because it's a promo, and it bottom decks literally anything. If you can create a board state, like if they only have, like, let's say the 110 drop and you play that 4 drop Luffy, you develop a character and bottom deck, like that's wild, right? But all in all, it's just like I said, it's just naturally playing a game, just the natural flow of a game is so many blue cards just become irrelevant. So we get to bounce 2, go bouncing that blocker, and it's kind of funny because now their hand size is set up for another pudding play. That's kind of funny. But yeah, so now we had the 10 drop. The 10 drop had some effectiveness in that ability to bounce back that Brûlée, and a 5 drop. So in a weird way, I mean, granted, it is an Enel deck, and because it's an Enel deck, we still have to be mindful of, heavier drops. So you see the 8 drop. There's the 2 Gadatsus on the board. We do have a lot of Don. We do have a lot of Don, but we also have a lot of what you call it, life. So we also have to be careful. Playing the put in reduced our hand size, so we're going to be able to draw this turn. And I think that's what makes this leader pretty damn strong. It's like you're already aggressive and you're swinging and you're putting in that work, right? And then it's like maintaining that little hand stability that you're pretty much drawing 2 cards every turn. It's actually effective, especially when you set up your Don count to allow you to play defensive events. One of my favorite plays, but until we can find like a more solid list, one of my favorite plays is to be able to attack with leader, draw, right? Now I'm at 4, and then let my opponent go, and then play Level Up Beam and draw again. It just seems so effective to me. So now, okay, so the board state that we currently have, we have the ability to easily protect our 10-drop Kaido. Since he maxed out his Don, we didn't have to worry about an attack towards our Kaido this turn, because everything is just weaker than 12. We could swing with a pudding just to like give him something to attack. Right now, this is the part of the game where Boa, still effective, can block an attack. But can't remove anything, which is fine. It's not the end of the world. They make their play, but we have a lovely 12k swing here. We have a lot of counter power in hand, and we have a blocker. Okay, so we rather just guarantee. This is me playing, by the way, but I just forgot what I did. So essentially, it seems like the decision was to guarantee getting past that leader ability with big swings instead of trying to play the Boa. But now they have a pudding they can attack, right? Which they do. Okay, I was like, nope, let's save it for Kaido. That's what it is. We're fine taking life because we have a bunch of life cards. So right now it's more about just protecting our Kaido. And since they maxed out their Don, every swing would have to go to our life. Okay. Interesting. Now, this is the annoying parts. It's like, well, we would have to try to get rid of Gadatsu in order to like really be effective with the Luffy. But we don't have anything to really effectively get rid of the Gadatsu. I will say in this game, in this current build, we do not have Gravity Tigers. Like I said, this is still in the works, and it's in a pretty interesting place because I've had some battles with this leader, and I'm talking battles with this leader. I have some battles with this leader, so the deck is not quite where it needs to be, but I think it's safe to say it's close. Attack our life already, buddy. Thank you. So anyway, yep, take that too. So yeah, we decided to not play Gravity Tigers because we have characters like Heroes that answers that turn count. But as you can see, it would be very good. Do we get this? This would be game, and they got the lucky beige. So this scenario is kind of nuts because we put the 2 Dawn on our Luffy, we have a situation where we don't have the Dawn count to play Kiros, bounce a Gedatsu, and be able to play our defensive event. They have plenty of swings to potentially ruin the game for us. So we really have to think, well, what is it that we should do? This play I love so much because it just helped us out. So now because of that, they have they basically, we have the Dawn count to be able to play an event, and we have 4K of counter power, 2K, the two 2K counters, so we can easily stop an attack. And then they have we have 3 life. They have to manage that Dawn perfectly because we can stop. Why am I doing this? We can stop. You know what's crazy? Okay, Katakuri. I'm gonna tell you what was happening. For some reason, my head kept trying to say Kakarot. It just would not stop, and I'm like, no. Oh, okay. They decided to scoop. So if they swung too light, and of course gaining the counter power from life, but if they swung too light, then it's like boom, we could just stop that, and now that just ruin the game for you. So they really had to think about how to manage that Dawn. They really had to think about how to manage that Dawn. So we was in a nice game state to where it's like, okay, we're probably going to be able to stop a couple of attacks. They most likely don't got game, and they have to make like a really strong decision. If they wanted to attack Boa to reduce our ability to attack, well, 8,000 is easier to defend than the 5,000 leader, and so on and so forth. So it just really worked out. Bouncing that character just put us in a particular game state where we didn't have to worry about potentially losing. I mean, granted, especially when you think to yourself, well, we might get more counter power, then maybe we didn't quite have to worry, because I could definitely see us stopping a minimum of 2 attacks. But anyway, yeah, it was just a play that I kind of liked. Play, bounce that, and then it gave us a character that we could help us guarantee the game next turn, unless they called like a lucky trigger. This match right here was another battle. Like this build, even though it was just more so to just see how the deck flows and stuff like that, it was battling. It was win or lose. It was really battling. It was nuts. So I'm like, okay, so what exactly am I supposed to do with it? But the making of this video is just more so to share my experience and just tell you how I feel about the state of blue, and maybe with your y'all feedback, you can just like share your opinions on it, because that's kind of the purgatory that I'm in, trying these blue leaders in general, I guess. But yeah, it's like, what are we supposed to do to adjust to a curve with a blue deck? We don't got cost reduction in blue by default. There's no cost reduction. And so many of these blue effects just only seem to hit like the lowest of the low drops. I'm tired of seeing, get rid of a 2-drop and a 1-drop and a 2-drop, and I'm a turn 8. Why am I even targeting? You know what? I just said that to be funny, and then I remembered Green Bull targeting a 1. I didn't finish the sentence, but I think y'all know where I was going with that. Like, why am I targeting a 1-drop, right? It doesn't make sense. And then next thing you know, there is a card like that, an 8-drop that targets a 1-drop. I don't understand, because I felt like a lot of these cards were also made before they started printing the cards that force your decision. Like, hey, do you not force your decision, but like has the opponent decide whether they want to keep pick what card for your target. Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm gonna say. Kiros with my 9K. Lovely strength. I wouldn't be surprised if they're protected. They got so many cards in hand. Okay, cool. We could set up for, Weevil has some relevancy in this. But since we're at our 10 down state, we have a blocker in 3 life. We should be able to safely drop that Kaido. Now, hopefully the board state that they present us next turn isn't one that's going to make it complicated for us. Now, this is never really fun. So we get our quote-unquote big body on the board, but they're already about to answer it. And then being able to make a play like this. Oh, they just wanted to draw? Okay, that's what that was. Being able to make a play like this, and now you're looking at the board state and you're like, really? Really? So now this is the other annoying element is now we have a 10 drop. But we don't want to return that Rebecca and we can't target that what's it called? We can't target 2 is what I'm saying. We can only target 1. So let's just put that Cavendish back in their hand. And that's the sucky part. It's like it hurts. I just really spent 10 Don to just, oh damn, yup. Just the nature of the game. Yeah, you spend 10 Don to bounce back a 4 drop. That sounds crazy. That sounds very low value, right? 10 Don to bounce back a 4 drop, and then they just Red Rocket, which no, it is what it is. They had a response, but it's more so the effectiveness and the value of your own play that makes that hurt. It's just like, damn it, man. I wish this thing did better. A friend of mine once said 10 drops should change the game dramatically, and I understood that. You know, this Usopp leader draws like crazy in my opinion. So we get another pudding play. Now we gotta just think. Interesting. So I went defensive this turn. I'm trying to set up for defense, but I'm debating about Weevil's effectiveness. Because, as you can see, they keep bringing back like a 2 drop. So I would always be able to bounce something. So yeah, setting up a 2K counter so I can draw into it immediately. I am at 3 life, and I have a vulnerable board. So I just created a situation to just be able to play better defense. I can't remember. I always forget. That's a searcher or that just does something. I think that's the searcher, right? But also, I guess to conclude that long rant, it just also makes me believe that in the very near future, maybe Blue is going to get some strong cards. Because it's like, you can't, at this point, you can't keep printing the same thing, right? I mean, it might happen, but for the most part, I think it's safe to expect different cards, i.e. more effective cards. I think it's safe. See, I'm loving counter events. I'm loving them. They just help so much. Every deck that I've now start creating, I always try to make sure counter events are relevant. Because since this game is all about resources, just being able to play 1 card for defense instead of having to drop 2 2Ks and a 1K is just like, oh, I could just do this. I was just saying things. Obviously, two 2Ks and 1K is more value than that event at least. So I would, unless it's a 3 Don event, but let's take a step back. Let me just say, instead of having to drop two 2Ks, I could just drop one event. Make that statement make more sense. Okay, going for board control, ease the pain. That's what I'm guessing. We have, some counter power in hand. Hopefully they don't make a strong play to turn things around. That play is not strong enough. They just want to develop something on the board, and that's fine. Damn, and they're swinging right now. Okay, I can't protect it. That would be, nope, can't protect it. So my board just got cleared. And I draw the Weevil, but the relevancy isn't there. So their board state is weak. So they make something like this a lot safer. They can't go for game, even though I got 2 life. And I'm very low on counter power. I don't quite have to worry about them being able to go for game. I played a Weevil just to have something on the board. Yeah. It always sucks not catching the best value. Now, what is it that I want to do right here? Doflamingo seems like the best play. So the point of that was to not have them draw and to be able to attack life and to put better pressure on them. I know it does seem a bit crazy because it's like, well, there is a 9K character there, but it was just like, maybe I should have just went for the Kiros and then just allowed him to block. So maybe that was just a misplay. But that was my thought process. Like, okay, let's get some pressure on them. And then more blockers galore. See, this is why I'm such a fan of Boa. 6 Don to just have an effective play. I still got counter power to do something after. Man, I love it. There's the block, okay. You draw. And then if I believe if I swing again and they block with that Frankie, they're going to be able to pull a character out, right? Now, this is my thought process. They can attack, and if I play my event to protect me, I can just put the blocker back. That's disgusting. So I don't get the max value off of my overheat. Sadly, I'm not going to get the max value off of my overheat because they did something that looks so crazy. But that was going to be the attempt. It was basically like, hey, if he attacks, I'm going to put that blocker back in his hand, and then he's going to have to play it again. Man, oh man. What a play. Just freaking roided that blocker. That's so crazy. Yeah, blue's gonna get strong. Like I said, or like I was saying earlier, with like what sounded like an incomplete thought, but blue's definitely gonna get stronger because they're not going to maybe just be printing the same cards. It's like these cards got printed already, blah blah blah, right? So now we should be seeing more effective abilities just stronger abilities that are more relevant to the modern game, that's more relevant to dealing with the curve. Because like you look, for instance, like you look at a Gadatsu who has potential to pop a 4 to 5, especially depending on your playstyle. So you look at a Gadatsu who has that ability to have that type of removal. So on curve, it's a lovely answer. But then you're getting these blue cards that once again can only answer cards that just are nowhere near relevant to the curve. Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. So now that's what my train of thought is for blue in the future, that there are going to be printing out cards that just have way more relevancy. Now, I was thinking to myself, I was thinking. It's not even funny how much I was thinking. I was like, damn it, what just happened here? Did I kind of screw myself a bit? Because would I have been able to play 10 drop? Like, I was really like, oh my god, I should have put 10 drop on top so I could have just played it and bounced too. And then later I was like, wait a minute, no, those are 2k counters. I forgot they're not just blockers, but they're 2k counters. So I would have gave him a crap ton of counter power potentially. And mind you, a 10 drop maxes out the Dawn. So what you call it, a 10 drop maxes out the Dawn. So I wouldn't have been able to go for game. But in that moment, I was just like, oh my god, no, and then I was like, okay, this did what it did. I have 9k counter power plus 1 blocker plus 1 life. I'm like, if he's going to answer my blocker, he has to eat up his Dawn to answer my blocker, right? So I'm like, well, there's that Zoro. That Zoro's 4. Quite okay. Let me see. So in my mind, I can't really remember what happened next, and this is fantastic to me. I'm just like, okay, cool. You just ate up all that Dawn. You didn't have an answer for my blocker, and you're attacking my blocker. It is what it is. But that's what I was just like, man, I'm hoping that whatever he does to deal with this blocker, it just eats up all his Dawn, and then he just can't go for a game. So right here is a decision, because obviously the next card would have to be a 2k. So it's like, okay, I gotta block this. So he only has one more swing since he maxed out his Dawn. He can't go for game, but he can go for character, I think, if he restands that Luffy. And I'm just in a particular position where, yeah, I can go for game next turn. I'm threatening lethal because he would have to answer both my characters. And he goes for right. Okay, because he has no Dawn, so he can't make that can't make Luffy stronger. So I mathed it out. I should have did this the other way. I was thinking it probably doesn't matter. I was like, just in case there's some shenanigans in life triggers, I'm going for my character, and I just like, did I make the mistake? Well, I should go to leave it. Well, G. Thanks for watching.